Shape-shifting animals have been a part of human mythology and folklore for centuries, captivating our imaginations with their transformative abilities and mysterious natures. Across cultures and continents, tales of animals that can change their forms have been passed down, each one more intriguing than the last. But over time, many myths about shape-shifting creatures have emerged, blurring the line between legend and misunderstanding. In this exploration of shape-shifting myths, we'll unravel the truth behind 10 of the most persistent and fascinating stories about these elusive beings. One of the most widespread myths is that all shapeshifters are inherently malevolent. This belief often stems from stories of werewolves, skinwalkers, and other transformative beings that wreak havoc on humans. However, in many cultures, shape-shifting animals are not inherently evil. For example, in Japanese folklore, kitsune or foxes are known for their ability to transform into humans. While some kitsune are tricksters or troublemakers, others are seen as protectors or bringers of good fortune. Similarly, in Native American traditions, some shapeshifters serve as spiritual guides rather than threats. This nuanced view reminds us that these creatures are often a reflection of human traits, both good and bad, rather than purely evil entities. Another myth suggests that shape-shifting is always a magical process tied to the supernatural. While magic is indeed a central theme in many stories, some shape-shifting legends are rooted in biology and natural phenomena. For instance, in certain African cultures, tales of shape-shifting hyenas known as Buddha may have originated from observations of how hyenas hunt in packs and their unusual vocalizations, which sound eerily human. These natural traits likely gave rise to myths of transformation, illustrating how folklore often intertwines with the natural world. A third misconception is that shapeshifting is limited to specific animals, such as wolves, foxes, or snakes. While these creatures often dominate folklore, the truth is that nearly any animal can be a shapeshifter in the right cultural context. In Irish mythology, Selkies are seals that can transform into humans by shedding their skins. Meanwhile, in Indonesian lore, tigers are sometimes thought to have the ability to take human form. The diversity of animals associated with shape-shifting across the world reflects the versatility of these myths and the universal human fascination with transformation. Some believe that shapeshifters are invincible, but this is far from accurate in most stories. Many myths describe specific vulnerabilities or limitations that these creatures possess. For example, in Norse mythology, werewolves can be killed by silver weapons, a weakness that has carried into modern interpretations of the legend. In the case of Selkies, their human form is tied to their seal skin. If someone takes it, they are trapped as humans and unable to return to the sea. These vulnerabilities make shapeshifters more relatable and human-like, balancing their supernatural abilities with tangible weaknesses. Another enduring myth is that shapeshifters are always solitary creatures. While some stories do portray them as lone wanderers, others depict them as members of communities or families. In the Philippines, the aswang, a type of shape-shifting creature, is often portrayed as part of a lineage, passing down their transformative abilities through generations. Similarly, the Navajo skinwalkers are said to exist within tightly knit groups that share their secrets and rituals. These communal aspects of shapeshifting add depth to the myth, emphasizing the social and cultural dimensions of transformation. A particularly haunting myth is the idea that shapeshifters can only transform at night or under the light of the full moon. While this trope is commonly associated with werewolves, it's not universal across all cultures. In many legends, shapeshifters can transform at will, regardless of the time of day or lunar phase. For example, Japanese kitsune and Scandinavian werebears are said to possess control over their transformations, allowing them to shift forms whenever it suits them. The notion of nocturnal transformation may simply reflect humanity's fear of the dark and the unknown, rather than a definitive rule of shape-shifting. A curious but persistent belief is that shapeshifters always retain some physical trait of their original form, such as animal eyes, fur, or claws. While this idea makes for compelling storytelling, it doesn't hold true in many traditional myths. In fact, many shapeshifters are described as being so perfect in their human disguise that they are indistinguishable from ordinary people. In African and Caribbean folklore, for example, where hyenas and luguras can blend seamlessly into society. This ability to fully inhabit another form adds an element of suspense to the stories, as it suggests that anyone could secretly be a shapeshifter. Another myth worth debunking is that all shapeshifters transform for malicious purposes. While some do use their abilities to deceive, harm, or hunt humans, others transform for entirely different reasons. In many myths, shape-shifting is a survival mechanism or a way to navigate between worlds. The Selkies, for instance, transform into humans not to harm, but to experience love or escape danger. Similarly, in Chinese mythology, certain snakes transform into humans to interact with the mortal world and learn its ways. These stories reveal the complexity of shapeshifters, showcasing their transformations as acts of necessity or desire rather than malice. There's also the myth that humans cannot become shapeshifters unless cursed or bitten by one. While curses and bites are common motifs in Western folklore, other traditions offer different explanations for how one becomes a shapeshifter. In African and Native American myths, shape-shifting is often seen as a skill that can be learned through rituals, prayers, or spiritual connections with animals. In other cases, shape-shifting is an inherited trait passed down from parent to child. These variations highlight the cultural diversity in understanding transformation, challenging the idea that becoming a shapeshifter is always an external affliction. Finally, one of the most captivating myths is that shapeshifters are purely fictional beings. While we have no scientific evidence of animals that can truly change their physical forms into humans or other creatures, the symbolic power of these myths cannot be overstated. Shape-shifting stories often reflect deep truths about identity, adaptability, and the relationship between humans and nature. They serve as metaphors for change, the fluidity of self, and our fascination with the unknown. Even if they don't exist in the physical sense, shapeshifters live on in our collective imagination, continuing to shape the stories we tell about ourselves and the world around us. In peeling back the layers of these myths, it becomes clear that shape-shifting animals are more than just creatures of fantasy. They embody the complexity of human culture, the wonder of nature, and the timeless allure of transformation. By understanding the truths behind these myths, we gain a deeper appreciation for the stories that connect us to our past and to each other.